was moved by Alderman
Vince did the second.
Lysick. Got it before you,
Yep,
Stefanski.
you got it before me.
Seconded by Alderman Vitale. Is there any further discussion?
Mr. Chair,
Yep.
this is fully funded, correct?
Yes.
Fully funded?
Yes. From multiple sources, yeah.
Yes.
Some CDBG, some donation,
Yeah.
some grant.
Okay, thank you. And you have,
That's what it's going for.
where will it be located?
At
Veterans Park. That's why it says,
Right by the Butler Station, kind of right by National,
Okay,
right there.
thank you.
any further discussion? Been moved by Alderman Lysick, seconded by Alderman Vitale. All in favor? Aye. Opposed, carried. Jerry Motter, would you do me a massive favor? Would you run this up to the Finance Committee, please? Because it was a joint referral. I would greatly appreciate that, sir. See, the guy's still serving the community. What I'm going to do to expedite time, I want to take 34 through 42 as a block, and I'm going to look for a motion to approve all of these resolutions.
So moved.
It's been moved and seconded to approve, to adopt resolutions 34 through 42. Is there any discussion on any of these individual items that you want brought out at this time?
Number 42?
Okay.
Mr. Chair?
Yep, number 42. Should I read it out, or,
No, I see what it is.
okay?
Alderman Weigel had indicated that no tax dollars would be used for this facility, if I remember correctly. Will the monies be taken out of the contingency fund then?
Some of them are tax dollars, yeah, there was 60,000 from carryover funds, I believe. So some of it is tax dollars, and some is donations from the gala. So, yeah, some money was budgeted from
Yeah, it was in the budget
tax,
last
right,
Or this year's budget.
yeah.
Unless he meant when the collection was made by several of the members of
Well, I mean, there were a lot of donations, and he just talked about the one, but yeah, it's not entirely donations. So some of it is tax dollars.
I see, so that was,
Over $10,000 from the Community Improvement Foundation.
Yes, so
I forget the exact amount.
they're up to 100,000 total. I think it was 60,000 tax dollars and 40,000 donations and the gala and all that. So it's 100,000 total has been collected. The bid is 72,000, but there's going to be some other expenses. So we've got plenty of money for the bid, 72,000.
so where's the money coming out of then? The 72?
I don't know if we're going to spend the donations first or I don't know. And then we're talking about making a few changes, adding another gate. So I think the 72 may go a little higher, but, and then they were going to make some signage for the rules of the dog park, and then there's going to be additional phases, I think, in the future to upgrade the path from Greenfield. So I think there's going to be multiple other phases. I know they want to put in some benches and furniture, so there's going to be
Gonna be ongoing
more
maintenance
things, right. There's going to be more things to spend money on in additional phases, perhaps. So they kind of have 100,000. They're spending 72 now. I think that's the best way to explain it.
So that won't be the final cost?
No, I mean, it'll be a functioning dog park, but I think they have visions of upgrading things as money comes in, more donations.
Thank you.
Further discussion? Any other items that any older person wants to discuss, 34 through 42? I did not get who it was moved by. Was it Lysick? Tom, and who was it seconded by?
I think it was
It was
second
Rosalie.
by Ryan.
Was it Rosalie? Alderman Ranky? Okay, so items number 34 through 42 on tonight's agenda, all resolutions moved by Alderman Lysick, seconded by Alderman Ranky to be adopted. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carried. Number 43, consideration by request of John's Disposal Service to renegotiate the existing recycling processing agreement with possible action. Dave?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. You had included in the attachment the recent proposal by John's Disposal dated June 20th, where they did indicate that they made a few additions and some revisions to the current contract. The current contract, we have 3 years remaining. And of that, the first item was to increase the material expenditure to $85 per ton for the city. And based on the current rebate, we're looking at approximately $49 per ton to the city. Two, they requested that we remove the zero floor language that guarantees zero payment. So anytime that the cost would exceed the profit of selling the material, at this juncture, we would be liable for that expenditure. In the previous contract that we currently have, we would not pay if it ever went into a negative. Number three, to remove all language which includes high side pricing or premium pricing that we had with our existing contract. So what does that mean with our current exposure with our contract is our current contract, we have $44.90 per ton. It will move up to approximately $49 per ton. We process about 4,200 tons a year for the city of West Allis, and you multiply that to the new rate of $49 per ton. We're looking at roughly $205,000 that we will be obligated to pay John's Disposal on an estimated level based on the market. So why is that different? Well, they are suggesting that we remove the zero balance or the zero liability clause, meaning when the markets go bad, we are now sharing the loss that they are also experiencing, so we're sharing that with them. The current contract would prevent us from paying that type of loss. So anything that goes in the negative, we're not obligated or liable to pay. So it's a big change from $0 to processing our recycling materials to approximately $200,000 per year for the remaining of the contract. Now, the contract was not extended in any way or proposed to extend, so when you do have good market times that you can maybe, average things out, so that's currently what the proposal is.
What are we paying per ton for hauling our regular refuse?
Approximately $48 to $49 a ton.
So it's a wash.
Yep.
Mr. Chair?
Yeah, Alderman Vitale.
Yeah, the fact that is, we're kind of about to John's actually, the last meeting when he came around, and we kind of forgive the fact of that percentage we were getting before. But now, I mean, I believe we should continue to negotiate at this point. If it's gonna cost the city additional $200,000, I believe we should sit down and keep negotiating. I'm not just giving in, just, I agree with, with them, really. Because I think they tried to play a little hardball at this point. I believe they are.
Caitlin?
If the committee is interested, this item is noticed for closed session, so if you want to discuss in detail the options in negotiating this contract, I'm happy to do that in closed session. If you want to keep an open session, that's also fine.
Thank you, Cal. The one question I have is there was supposed to be like a really nice carrot. And where's that carrot?
Currently, at this time, yeah,
It's not there. Vince, I agree with you 100%. It's up to the committee if we want to go into
I don't think we have to go into closed session.
No.
I agree. If this is a wash, if we were paying the same, what's the point in doing anything with them? you know, I mean, I know we're mandated by the state to do recycling, correct?
Correct. Yep.
What if we don't?
Well,
What are they gonna do? Drop us from the state?
Why, I
In,
potentially go ahead, penalties, but.
I mean,
in theory,
I
the
mean,
state would,
recycling is the right thing to do,
Cut
but if
funding.
they're not recycling, it's going to landfill anyway, correct?
They're processing all the recyclables at this time, and they are selling that material, at a loss. So they are shipping it to other areas, so to speak, all the recycling materials. It is illegal to put that recycling material in landfills, so,
Yeah. But it's going somewhere. What are they doing with it?
you know, I can't.
You know it's going
you
to a
know.
landfill.
my assumption is that they would simply be stockpiling it at this point in time if they can't sell it for any rate.
You can't stockpile it forever. I mean, this has been going on for 6 months at least, since the, you know, the tariffs went on and China says, hey, we're not taking any more scrap, you know, the heck with you guys.
My hope is that the market would take over and eventually bring that back.
Back.
Well, mine is too, but
The other thing is we do nothing, and we're under contract for them for what, 2 more years?
3 more years.
3 more years. So we don't have to do anything.
I know we don't, but they're gonna be out of business. And I don't think that's our intention to put them out of business, but I want to be reasonable too.
But this isn't reasonable.
That's what I said. I want to be reasonable.
Yeah.
You know, I think we should go back, do some more negotiating, tell them this was not acceptable.
I concur. Rest of the committee?
Yes.
Yes, I agree. The contract actually addresses the markets that are down, but what happens when they improve? Does it address
The carrot's
that
not there.
as well?
And they do propose,
What was something, 90%, yeah.
you know, for the items that they are proposing for us to remove, they are proposing to increase our revenue share when the markets do increase from 90-10. It was 80%, so we would increase that to 10% on the sale of those materials, so a 10% increase. And also, Johns has indicated that they would waive all future increases, so the cost of living expense and that sort of thing would be eliminated.
Okay.
But again, that's for the duration of the remainder of the contract, the 3 years. So the question is, within the 3 years, do we see that the market is going to increase
You
and
have a crystal ball?
turn around?
Want to make some money on the stock market?
That's right.
It could
That's right.
increase instantly, and it could stay like this for, so what do we want to do? Just place it on file or hold it?
Only,
Hold it
yeah.
and send them back to do some more negotiating.
Number 43 will be held. I think the direction has been set. With that, that'll take care of Public Works, and a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion we adjourn.
Second.
Moved, seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, carried.
Safety and development will come to order. And I'm gonna let you know right off the bat that the UHS is gonna be held till the end of the meeting so that the other members of the council can come down here and participate in the discussion if desired.
Mr. Chairman, I think the same thing with the special use on the BP. Other people wanted to come down, and I think, as myself, I wanted to go to license and health. So we're going to have like a,
How you gonna do that?
I don't know.
I don't either.
Yeah, one of them has to go first, and then you go to the other one.
Well, the zoning issue, what we had the hearing on tonight, has nothing to do with the issuance of the license.
Correct. And I understand that. So,
It can have, we can say, hey, we don't want a license in that area, and we're not gonna zone for it, but
If I may, because it's related to that issue, the issuance of a new alcohol license carries a lot more discretion than the granting of a special use permit. So if you want to hold the item, maybe even recess if you'd like to attend the other meeting and come back, that would all be acceptable.
okay, put the onus on them to see if they're gonna issue the license. If they issue the license, then we'll act on the zoning. That's fine. I have no problem with
nope,
that.
I don't either.
So we'll hold this till
Till they're done,
they're
and we'll
done,
come back
move
in
on to go
session.
up to theirs.
Yeah.
Are they meeting now, or,
They're going to hold it until, so I would go on with our agenda.
okay. Item 46 on your agenda, it's an ordinance to amend various sections of the RMC relating to disease and infected trees, hedges, et cetera.
Well,
This
that's
is,
the fact that happened, so
pardon?
I'll move for approval,
Yeah,
really.
this is, basically, it's pretty much a housekeeping.
Yeah, housekeeping.
City attorney's office has indicated that there's some things that we shouldn't be doing with removal of these.
I'll second.
It's been moved by Alderman Vitale, seconded by Alderperson Stefanski. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carried. Item 47 is an ordinance amending various sections of the RMC to include state and county parks with children play access that are located within the city of West Allis as restricted locations affected by the sex offender residency restrictions.
Move to approve.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, carried. And just in case anybody didn't check up on that for the public, that is just basically including the county park systems because they were missed in our ordinance. Item 48 is resolution authorizing the sale of land of the property located at 1706 South 60. I think we'll hold that. That's all the way, yes.
Yeah, hold that.
Hold that till a special use. Do that all at once.
50.
49. is
48
the
and
same.
49, we're gonna hold.
48 and 49 are gonna be held till the end of the meeting. 52 is the ordinance on motor vehicle and small engine repair. I think we should hold this until staff comes back with the nuisance ordinances amended. So at that time, you can bring this one back, otherwise hold it in committee until such time as the attorney's office is finished with the nuisance ordinances. Item 53 and 54, this is, and 55 are all special use requests that are to be placed on file as the people withdrew.
Move to place on file.
Second.
Been moved by Reinke, seconded by Vitale. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Item 56 and 57, and this is a special use, a resolution for special use for the childcare at 6682 West Greenfield.
Move for approval.
Been moved by Vitale. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Barzak. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. 58 and 59 is the special use application and permit for 7127 West National extension of premise. What is your pleasure on this?
Well, Mr. Chairman, as in the past, when most of the extension, the premises that have come before us, unless they were actually for dining, which was the original intent of the patio ordinance, I have not supported. So I'll be voting against this if it comes out to be approved. I'm going to vote against it. I think the proximity to the neighborhood is too close. I still feel that the extension of premises should be strictly for the dining area, and they shouldn't be smoke patios, and I've said that from the very beginning, and I'm gonna still stick with it. So I don't know what the rest of the committee thinks.
Well,
I would tend to agree, Mr. Chair. I move to disapprove.
there's
the
a motion
resolution?
to place for disapproval of the resolution, or actually to place it on file. Disapprove and place on
All
file.
right, and place on file.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Vitale. So it's moved, seconded by Vitale to place the to disapprove and place the resolution on file. Is there any further discussion?
Mr. Chair,
Pardon?
Are we allowed to speak for that? At 7127 West National?
Well, typically, this is a working session of the committee, and we don't allow someone to speak unless you ask ahead of time. Do you have something brief that you want to add that hasn't been?
Well, there's two things on there. Part of our whole thing was, we don't really care about the back patio. I don't want to upset the neighbors, even though whatever, I want to upset the neighbors. But I didn't see that any kind of problem with the 3 tables in the
change it?
So,
I think the discussion was, I know what the planning commission did not approve the back end.
Right.
Planning commission approved the tables in the front. I spoke with Alderman Weigel, and he indicated to me that he had no problem accepting the planning commission's recommendations for tables in the front, but nothing in the back. That was prior to the public hearing tonight. So I, you know, don't know if he's changed his mind since the public hearing or not, so I don't wanna really speak for him now, other than to pass you that information.
so, Mr. Chair, we did already allow other operator within our city here to operate or putting seating area in
Yeah,
the
lots of
front.
them.
Lots of them, so how can we deny the?
Well, you just seconded the motion to
I
deny
know, but
it.
that's because she put the emotion, I'll second it just for the sake of second it. But then for
Okay.
discussions, you know, I'm not really, you know, kind of in favor at this point. You know, once I digest the situation here, I mean, how can we,
Do
do
they
that,
have-
really? You know, Rosalie?
Do they have to submit it?
No, she,
I don't know, Kale,
No, because the application was submitted, if the committee wants to make other conditions or alterations, you can approve it in an amended form. It would just be then up to the licensee to decide whether they want to accept those conditions.
So I would request an amendment that we allow the front, but deny the back.
concurring with the planning commission recommendation, so we would accept that.
Yes.
I'd recommend disposing of the pending motion prior to doing that.
Oh, yeah, well, we have to do that, absolutely.
so Rosalie, you have to
So
withdraw your,
that's
Mr.
what
Chair?
you- That's what you want to accept,
Yes.
okay.
Mr. Chair, is he planning a pedlet?
No,
He just wants to put tables and chairs in front?
Correct.
well, that's,
Tables and like 3 to 4 chairs per table, that was it.
Yeah.
doesn't have space to walk. I don't really, people in
Are you
handicap.
withdrawing your second?
Yeah, I withdraw my second. I just for the sake, I did second it for discussion
Yeah,
then.
Is there anyone else that wants to second Alderman Reinke's motion then?
So if I second it, we're gonna deny the back,
You're gonna deny
the whole thing, and then we can amend it.
No, you deny the whole thing. So what you wanna do now is let the motion, if you want it to
Die.
be approved, let the motion die from lack of a second, and then make a new motion.
Okay.
So there's no second on this now, is there a second? There's no second.
again,
Motion dies for lack of a second. Now, Alderman
again,
Stefanski?
clarification.
Yes.
I think the committee, I'm still gonna vote no, but
Yeah.
I think the committee is in favor of the front tables, I think.
Yes.
Okay, I'm still gonna vote no. So to get to the point where we can go back to the motion and amend it.
We're there.
We're there, okay.
Yes.
Yep, we're there.
That's,
So I make a motion that we allow the front tables, but deny the back, which is following the planning commission, planning committee's referral.
Recommendation,
Yeah.
okay,
That's sufficiently specific.
good. So it's been
I'll
moved.
second it.
It's been moved by Alderman Stefanski, seconded by Alderperson Vitale to approve, to adopt the resolution as amended per recommendations of the planning commission. And I'm gonna write that on here. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
aye.
No.
3-2, the motion carries. And then, item 59 is the application just to be placed on file. Is there a motion to place
Shall
on file?
move, Mr.
Second.
Chair.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Aye.
More question, when can we put tables out?
It's gonna have to go to the full council for approval, and at that point in time, once your,
Application for special use permit.
Yeah,
once everything goes
just
through.
a special use.
It'll still be tonight.
Yeah, you have to go upstairs now for license committee.
Eric's doing that.
Oh, okay, so you, double teaming us.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Trying to make your night go faster.
Yep, good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 60 and 61, this is the application for special use for the service station on 105th and Greenfield. So this we're gonna hold until we find out determination if they pass the license or not. And 62 and 63 are for the behavioral health hospital. So we're gonna hold 48, 49, 62, 63, and 60 until the rest of the committee comes down. So, at this point,
Mr. Chair, just double check with the, I did not see a resolution on items 44, 45, 50, or 51. Is there, did I miss something on that?
Daycare.
yeah, you have to hold hearings on those.
Okay, good. I just
Hold
wanted,
that to August
Yeah.
6th.
okay, just want to double check.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we adjourn for recess.
We recess until the conclusion
I'll
of
second
the
it.
Finance and License and Health Committee meetings.